The cafe smelled of roasted beans and warm bread, a comfort Emma Reed had grown used to after 3 years behind its counter. The morning rush had come and gone, leaving only the soft hum of indie music, clinking cups, and the occasional scratch of pencils from the students scattered at their tables. For most people, it was just a coffee shop. For her, it was a safe place, a pocket of calm after the storm she'd clawed her way out of. She poured steamed milk into a ceramic mug, watching the swirl of foam settle into a crooked heart. It was for herself, not a customer. She needed courage today. And coffee was the only armor she had. Emma was 27, but sometimes she felt twice that. Heartbreak aged you, she thought. Especially the kind that came with manipulation dressed as romance. Her ex, Ryan, had taught her that the hard way. When she finally escaped, this cafe became her anchor. So when the bell above the door chimed and she looked up, her breath caught Ryan, tall, tailored, and smug as ever, and on his arm, a woman who looked like she'd stepped out of a fashion ad. Long legs, sharp red lips, and an aura of effortless wealth. Emma's stomach dropped. She turned instinctively, pretending to clean the espresso machine, but she could still hear him. Wow, Ryan said loudly. Just close enough. Still, working here. Thought you'd at least be managing by now. His voice sliced through the cafe like broken glass. She didn't turn around. Couldn't. Her hands were already shaking. The new girlfriend giggled. Ryan went on. Nothing wrong with frothing milk. Some people dream small. Just glad you're finally out of your I'm going to be a writer phase. She bit the inside of her cheek hard, the same way she used to when he'd talk down to her in private, only now it was in front of strangers. A few customers glanced up. A girl with pink headphones pulled them down. Emma's cheeks burned. Ryan stepped closer to the counter. Oh, come on, Em. No hi. Not even a how's life after you ghosted me. Her voice was somewhere deep inside, buried beneath months of self-preservation. She forced a smile. Hi, Ryan. He leaned on the counter. You know, I always said you looked cute in aprons, kind of like a little housewife. Guess I wasn't that far off. Something snapped. Her pride, maybe. Her silence, definitely. She looked round, desperate. And that's when she saw him sitting alone in the far corner, a man she'd never seen before. Tall, mid-30s, maybe, soft, dark eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses, dressed plainly. A sketchpad open in front of him, quiet, calm, watching. Without thinking, she called out, Babe? The man blinked. She walked over to him, fast, before Ryan could follow. Hey, she whispered, her voice trembling. I know this is insane, but could you just pretend you're my boyfriend for 2 minutes? He tilted his head clearly, amused. Then he smiled. Of course. And just like that, everything shifted. Ethan extended his hand, the sketchpad now resting on the table beside him. I was wondering when you'd show up, he said. Eyes warm, voice calm. You're late. Emma blinked, caught off guard by how smoothly he stepped into the lie. She slipped into the chair across from him, her pulse racing. Traffic, she whispered, barely able to hold in her nervous laugh. Terrible. Ryan was already walking toward them, dragging his disbelief behind him. Wait, you're dating someone? He asked, stopping at their table. This guy? Ethan looked up and smiled politely. Yes, I'm her boyfriend, Ethan Cole. Ryan narrowed his eyes. Never heard of you. Ethan shrugged. She keeps me to herself. Emma bit back a laugh. Ryan's confusion was morphing into something worse. Bruised ego. You're dating him now? Ryan asked, as if he couldn't believe she'd moved on without him. An art guy. Ethan tilted his head. I design homes, actually, but mostly, I just like sketching her. Emma's cheeks went pink. This stranger was not only saving her, he was good at it. She always had a type, Ryan said bitterly, quiet, soft, easily impressed. That did it. Ethan stood up slowly, the scrape of his chair sharp in the silence. I think you've said enough. Ryan looked him up and down. Is that a threat? No, Ethan said coolly, but it is a warning. Emma watched, breath held. Ryan opened his mouth to say more, but then he backed down. Maybe it was the way Ethan stood. So still, so certain, or maybe For the first time, Ryan realized he wasn't the most important man in the room. Whatever, Ryan muttered, grabbing his girlfriend's hand. This place smells like burnt toast anyway. When the door closed behind them, Emma finally exhaled. Her whole body felt like it had just finished running a marathon. Ethan sat again, casually picking up his pencil. I don't usually do things like that, she blurted. I mean, track strangers into fake relationships. I'm sorry. He looked up. Don't be. That was kind of fun. She stared at him. Why did you help me? He shrugged, sketching again. You looked like you needed rescuing. I did, she admitted quietly, but I didn't expect a stranger to show up like that. He didn't look up this time. I'm not always a stranger, she blinked. What? He finally met her gaze, a smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. Maybe this is how real stories begin. And just like that, the heaviness in her chest lifted, maybe just a little. Maybe just enough. The cafe felt quieter after Ryan's exit, like it had taken a breath with Emma and now finally exhaled. She stayed at the corner table with Ethan, her apron still on, coffee long cold, heart finally slowing its wild rhythm. So, she said, wrapping her hands round the untouched mug. What were you sketching before I barged in? He turned the pad toward her, a simple line drawing of the cafe's window, light bleeding in, plants hanging like lazy thoughts. But there, in the corner of the sketch was her apron, bun, her back turned. You drew me? You looked peaceful, he said. Like, you belonged. That word hit harder than she expected. Belonged. She hadn't felt that in a long time. She shook her head. You just saved me from total emotional collapse. And now I'm making you talk about art like we're on some weird therapy date. Ethan grinned. Could be worse. You could have pretended I was your ex. Emma laughed, surprising herself. A real, full laugh. Seriously though, she added, I owe you big time. That could have gone very differently. He leaned back, casual but not distant. You didn't look like someone who needed saving. Just someone who'd been cornered. She didn't reply, just stared at the sketch. That version of herself who looked composed. Grounded. It didn't match how she felt, but maybe it was a version she could grow into. I'm usually not this bold, she admitted. Ryan. He was good at making me small. And for a while, I believed I deserved to be small. Ethan's smile. Soften. You're not small. Emma blinked fast, suddenly emotional again. You don't even know me. I know what I saw today, he replied. That took guts. A silence settled, but not an awkward one. A shared one. Then, she stood, gathering her mug. I should probably get back to work, she said, gesturing at the counter, and maybe stop dragging strangers into my soap opera life. Ethan stood too, picking up his sketchpad. Then I guess I'll just be a regular customer. She raised an eyebrow. Same time tomorrow, he said with a smile. I'll be in the corner, drawing the girl behind the counter. Emma opened her mouth, but no words came. Just a warmth in her chest, one that hadn't been there in a long, long time. As he walked out, she looked round the cafe, still hers, still safe but somehow different. The ghosts had been pushed out, and in their place, a beginning.